Hello and welcome to another video from Minus Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's not altogether that old, but now has become very collectible and is becoming increasingly harder to find, especially in this mint unopened condition. We are looking at the 2017 release by Hasbro in conjunction with Disney from their Star Wars Last Jedi series of 12-inch action figures. And this particular action figure we're looking at today is of Captain Poe Dameron, as he appeared in Star Wars The Last Jedi, or Episode 8 as it also become known as. Now, as you're all aware, it's an American epic space opera film. It was written and directed by Rian Johnson, and it was produced by Lucasfilms and was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. It's the second installment of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which follows The Force Awakens, which was released in 2015. And it's the 8th episode of the 9-part Skywalker saga. And it was obviously followed by the final part, which was The Rise of Skywalker. All-star cast include Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, or General Leia as she is in this, Adam Driver, who was Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley, Rey, John Boyega, who was Finn, Oscar Isaac, who was Poe Dameron, Annie Serkis, who played the Supreme Leader Snoke, and so on. There's a lot of cast in this movie, and it follows Rey's attempt to find Luke Skywalker to teach her in the art of becoming a Jedi. Obviously, the Resistance hope this will be the turning point of the Resistance in their fight against Kylo Ren and the First Order. General Leia, Organa, Finn and Poe Dameron attempt to escape a First Order attack on the dwindling Resistance fleet. And the film features Carrie Fisher's final performance as she died in December 2016, and this film was dedicated to her memory. The film came out December 9th, 2017, and the running time was about 2.5 hours, I think 152 minutes I think it ran for. The budget, incidentally, for this movie was $300 million, colossal amount of money. But however, at the box office, it took $1.334 billion. So an absolute massive return on the 300 million layout. Anyway, let's not digress any further, because this is the figure in front of us. And as you can see, you've got Poe Dameron behind the window, and it says Star Wars. And there is an image of Poe Dameron. And it says Captain Poe Dameron, ages 4 and up, and you've got the Disney and the Hasbro logo on the bottom right-hand corner. Let's just turn the box to the side, and there we've got another image of Poe Dameron. I think it's the same image, but just obviously longer. And again, it says Star Wars, and I think it's okay. So the other side, it's a little bit different. It says Star Wars. Also look for Rey in Jedi training and First Order Stormtrooper. Each sold separately, subject to availability. And you've got StarWars.com and you've got StarWarsHasbro.com there. And at the very bottom, you've got the Disney logos. You can just see at the bottom there. Okay, back of the box. And again, it says Star Wars, Captain Poe Dameron. It takes a defiant courage to stare down the threat of the First Order. And while Captain Poe Dameron is eager to fight, he worries that some in the Resistance leadership don't have what it takes. And there's that image again of Poe Dameron. And then you've got all the warning and the licensing information just below that. Not so good for children under the age of 3. Made in China. Barcode there. You've got the item number and the assortment number. and you've got obviously all the CE markings, the Disney logos, the Hasbro logos, etc, etc. Okay, that is the box. Now what I think we're going to do, I think the best thing to do is take the figure out of the box where we can have a really good look at him. I don't think we're going to be able to remove him from the card because of the way they fit them onto the cards these days. But let's get him out of the box and let's have a look at the figure where we can have a better view of him. Okay, so I've removed the figure from the box and this is what we got. So there he is, standing on, well, he's still on the card there. And unfortunately, I can't remove him from the card because as you can see at the back, there's all these little tabs that are holding him in and you've got to break them to take him off. So I can't do that. Obviously, it's brand new and it's got to go back into the shop. So we can't actually remove him from the card. And you can see that his pistol there is also strapped in. But let's have a zoom in on him because we can have a very good look at him anyway. And that's not really a bad likeness of Poe Dameron as he appeared in the movie. It is a pretty good likeness of Oscar Isaac, who plays Poe Dameron. Very, very good, really, overall. And of course, there he is in his trademark leather jacket, which he gave to Finn. White t-shirt and trousers and boots. And there's his holster on the side of his leg there. And obviously his pistol there will fit into that holster. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad figure overall, I've got to say. The likeness is not bad. It could be perhaps a touch better. But overall, it's not too bad, all things considered. Articulation-wise, I don't think these were absolutely great articulation. So, yeah, so the head does turn from side to side. Okay, we can see that's turning. The arms, well, the only articulation on the arms is on the tops of the shoulders. So there's no elbow articulation, and there's no twisting of the articulation. The hands do turn, so you can see the hand turns. So there is articulation there, but it's only 2 points of articulation on the one on the shoulder, one on the hand, which is a shame, really. And on the legs, the only articulation is the tops of the legs, and I'm pretty certain, yeah, so there's no waist movement either. So it's very basic articulation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 7 points of articulation. And that is, I'll say, a little bit disappointing, considering that these were only released 8 years ago, and technology was much more advanced than this 8 years ago. So, but then I'm guessing that they were made for the cheaper end of the market rather than the high end of the market. So I'm assuming these were made more for children than for collectors. Obviously, if they were collectors, it would be a lot more detail with a lot more articulation. So I think these were more for the children than for the collectors. However, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's obviously a price difference between these and the 3 3/4 inch figures, which were the popular ones. And also, obviously, the smaller figures are easier for kids to play with. So, yeah, they're is it a nice toy to have? I'm not sure. I mean, it's good. There is some good detailing on it. There's nice detailing on the jacket there. And he does look pretty much like Poe Dameron, but yeah, anyway, let's get some measurements here. So it says 12 inches on the box. He's not quite 10 inches. He's about 11 inches tall from the bottom of his boots to the top of his head. Which is about 28 centimeters. If we measure across him, we're looking at 9 centimeters, and depth-wise, well, we're looking at about 4 centimeters deep, as you can see. So there we are. That is Poe Dameron. Now, there's not a lot else I can show you on this figure, actually. It's not as articulate as I would have hoped, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, Now you're going to ask me, how well did this figure do back in 2017? Well, I mean, there was a fair amount of these figures produced. However, I don't think they sold the way they was expecting them to sell, based on the previous movies. I mean, The Last Jedi was the middle film, and it's usually a what we consider to be a gap filler in a trilogy. So it's not the exciting first part, and it's certainly not the exciting end part. So we consider them to be the gap fillers, even though as a standalone movie it was quite exciting. But obviously with middle films, they never seem to have as much merchandise produced as the first and the last films, and that's the same in this particular trilogy. As I say, although very, very popular film, did take a colossal amount of money at the box office, it unfortunately, the merchandise, there wasn't the amount of merchandise that there was for the first and last films. And these particular figures, I think, as I say, I'm sure these were geared more for children than for collectors, so hence the reason why there's not that much articulation. There's not I mean, I don't feel there's much playability with these either, to be perfectly honest with you, because they don't really do a lot. The only good thing about this, you can see the hand is gripped in such a way where he could hold his pistol quite comfortably without it falling out of his hand, and you can see his finger is there, the way his finger is sitting, and just on his right hand, you can see that will be sitting in the trigger section of the pistol. So that's a good point. I think if you put him in a display with the other 12-inch figures from the same line, he would look pretty good. As I say, playability, not so sure about. Anyway, let's move forward to 2025, where we are today, which is 8 years on. Do these figures come up very often on the platforms? Not as often as they did, I'll be quite honest with you. Certainly not in the UK anyway. I didn't check overseas, but they did for quite some time. You could find loads and loads of these figures online, on the platforms, selling very cheaply as well, I have to add. However, as the years have ticked round, and obviously these were only released for a small amount of time, because just about 2 years later, the final film came out, and there was lots of merchandise produced for The Rise of Skywalker, a lot more than was for The Last Jedi. So the merchandise didn't run for a long period of time. I think it was really only for that one production run, and I don't think they produced any more after that, because the next film was in production, and they would have been busily working on producing figures for the final film. So, to summarise, they don't really come up for sale very often nowadays. They do semi-regularly appear. These particular range of figures, not just Poe Dameron, but obviously there's quite a few others in the same series. And I say they do semi-appear on the platforms in various different states of condition. You can find lots of them in opened, used, played with conditions, and they do go for very, very cheap on the platforms, as I did notice. However, finding them like this particular one, mint sealed in the original box, as I say, they're becoming harder and harder to find. And obviously, if you're buying on platforms, do be careful, because somebody's idea of very good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition. So there's a big scope of differences between people's opinions there. So do be careful. If you are going to buy on a platform, do read carefully what you're about to buy, because you could be disappointed when it arrives. Otherwise, as I think most of us have been in the past. And also, don't forget, some of the platforms use stock images and stock descriptions, and of course, if there's no new ones available, they automatically go to the cheapest used item, and that may very well not be what you want, what you think you're going to get. Maybe you've looked at an item, you think you're going to get one like this, and you end up clicking on the order now, and it orders the order goes to the cheapest used item, and you get just a loose figure. You will be disappointed. However, that's how some of the platforms work, so you have to just be very careful. If it doesn't say new and it says used, you need to click the used link and read what you're about to order, otherwise you will be disappointed. Or alternatively, you don't need to go through all that rigmarole. You can come straight to us at Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles, where what you see in front of you is exactly the item you will receive should you wish to order it. And this particular item is no different to that. We don't believe in stock images or stock photographs. The actual item is the item that you see on the listing. If we have used or different conditions, they are listed under separate products, so you cannot get confused and order something that you don't think you're ordering. And of course, this particular figure is, as of today, available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Wars items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful Poe Dameron 12-inch action figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.